Before we get into the video, could everyone please subscribe to my channel? Thank you so much. In my past life, I loved Marcus but could never have him. We rarely saw each other during the 5 years we were in a relationship, and even during the 3 years of our marriage, he didn't come home often. I thought he was naturally cold and distant towards others. It wasn't until later that Marcus's first love, the so-called white moonlight, in his heart, got divorced. He went to great lengths to take care of her daily life, being extremely meticulous. Finally, I asked him for a divorce. Who would have thought that just 1 month after the divorce, he held a wedding with his white moonlight and went to Greece, a place I had always wanted to go, but he had never been willing to spare the time to accompany me. To Reborn and go back 3 years ago, this time I chose to run away from the wedding. To my surprise, he was looking for me everywhere like a madman with red eyes shouting, "Emily, do you not want me anymore?" Yes, this time I don't want to hold on to a heart that will always be as cold as a stone anymore. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself back 3 years ago. At this moment, I was wearing a wedding dress and Elena was beside me, straightening the hem of my dress. Your Marcus is really something. He didn't even come to see such an important thing as trying on the wedding dress. How on earth did you fall for this workaholic? I remembered it was the day before my wedding to Marcus when we had made an appointment to come to the bridal shop to try on wedding dresses. I arrived at the bridal shop alone at 1 p.m. An hour later, I received his apologetic phone call. "Emily, you can try on the wedding dresses by yourself first. A case has suddenly come up on my side and I can't come over. Just buy the one you like." With no other choice, I had to drag Elena out to get some advice. It was only later that I found out that today was the day when his married first love, Sophia, had come to the city uninvited. Between choosing wedding dresses with his fiancée and having lunch with his white moonlight, he didn't hesitate to choose the latter. "Emily, which one do you like the most?" "I think this one is suitable to be the main wedding dress, and the second one we saw earlier was also quite nice. It could be used as the welcome dress." Elena was seriously thinking while helping me straighten the hem of my dress. "No need." I grabbed her hand and gently patted the back of her hand. "I'll go change back into my clothes. Come with me to a place." "Huh." When we were standing at the entrance of the restaurant, Elena asked me, "What are you bringing me here for?" I took a deep breath and pushed open the door. "You'll know soon." As soon as I stepped inside, I saw Marcus and Sophia sitting opposite him at a glance. At this moment, Sophia looked even more delicate than she did 3 years later, exuding femininity in every gesture. "Emily, what are you doing here?" Marcus saw me and was extremely shocked, as if he couldn't understand why I, who should be in the bridal shop, was here. "Didn't you have a case to handle?" A hint of panic flashed in Marcus's eyes, and then he regained his composure. "Yes, I just took a break and came to have a meal with a friend." Then he turned sideways and introduced us to each other. "This is Sophia, my childhood friend. She came to the city today to handle some business. We haven't seen each other for a long time, so we're having lunch together to catch up. Sophia, this is Emily, my fiancée." Sophia stood up from her seat, stretched out her hand and said with a smile, "Hello, Miss Emily. I've heard so much about you. Marcus has always mentioned you. Miss Emily, do you have a seat? Why don't we sit at the same table?" I smiled politely and refused. "No need. Seems you've almost finished eating. We'll just get another table." After finding an empty seat in the corner and sitting down, Elena leaned over and whispered to me, "Don't tell me you came here to catch him cheating." I just smiled without saying a word. She continued, "However, I saw that they were sitting opposite each other and didn't look particularly intimate. There shouldn't be any special relationship between them." What my best friend didn't know was that Marcus never ate spicy food. To accommodate his taste, we always chose the lightest cuisine possible during the few times we ate together. But this restaurant was famous for its spicy Sichuan cuisine, and the table full of Sichuan dishes had already caught my eye. Chapter 2. The meal was dull. When I went home in the evening, I called Marcus. The call was hung up on the other end, and what I got in reply was a photo of work. "Working? Then I'll wait until you're done." Marcus was always busy, and I always played the role of a considerate little woman. Although we had been living in the same city all these years, we had been spending very little time together. I remember once he had a half-month vacation and said he wanted to go on a self-driving trip to Tibet. But that period of time was my first solo art exhibition. I had been preparing hard for it for 2 years. I thought he remembered, but this was also the first time he had proposed to travel with me, and I didn't want to miss it either. Those few days I was extremely torn, but I didn't dare to tell Marcus. I was afraid to see the disappointed expression on his face, and even more afraid that if he knew I couldn't go, he would find someone else. After weighing the pros and cons, I postponed the art exhibition and started to prepare all the items for the self-driving trip with him wholeheartedly. But on the day before we were supposed to set out, I received a call from Marcus. "Emily, another case has come up on my side. We can't go to Tibet." He was always like this. With just a casual sentence, he disrupted all my plans. Sometimes I also asked myself if I was loving too humbly. But after a night of feeling aggrieved, I would put away all my sad emotions and show him a bright smile. Putting aside my thoughts, I sent Marcus a message again. "Let's break up." The message sank like a stone into the sea. It wasn't until evening that I received his call. "Emily, did you overthink things today?" I replied calmly. "It's not because of what happened today, Marcus. I feel that you've never loved me. We're not in a long-distance relationship, but the number of times we've met is pitifully few. You always have time to party with friends, but whenever I look for you, you're always working overtime." Marcus's voice on the other end sounded extremely apologetic. "Emily, I'm sorry. It's my fault." I paused for a moment and said, "Forget it, Marcus. I figured it out. I don't want to be your lapdog anymore." After breaking up with Marcus, I packed up all my personal belongings at home by myself, packed my bags and went to Greece by myself. It was a place I had once proposed to Marcus, but he had never accompanied me. Not long after I landed, Marcus called. I thought he had realized that I had run away from home and was looking for me everywhere. However, to my surprise, when the call was connected, the first thing he asked was, "Emily, where is my blue and white striped tie? I can't find it." My eyes dimmed, but I patiently told him the location. After a rustling sound, he asked again, "Which piece of clothing would this tie go better with?" I clenched my phone tightly as if I could see him standing in front of the full-length mirror comparing 2 shirts. But this time I didn't answer. Marcus waited for a moment. "Emily, why aren't you talking? I'm in a hurry to go out for a meeting." I took a deep breath and said calmly, "Marcus, we've already broken up. Are you serious?" Marcus was first astonished, and then his voice became gentle and weary. "Emily, don't be silly. I've already apologized to you." Chapter 3. There was no point in saying more. I didn't want to get entangled with him anymore, so I hung up the phone directly. I carried my backpack and came to the seaside alone. When the vast expanse of blue came into view, I actually shed tears. When my world no longer revolved around Marcus, I found that my heart was unexpectedly lighter than ever before. I settled down in Zakynthos, and the thing I did most every day was painting. Half a month later, I returned to China only to receive a call from Sophia unexpectedly. We made an appointment to meet in a coffee shop. She still looked as delicate as she did a month ago. I remembered that the first time I actually met her should have been 3 years later. Sophia, looking disheveled all over, came to ask Marcus to handle her divorce case for her. It was hard to associate the haggard look in her eyes back then with the high spirit she had now. But even in such a haggard state, she had aroused Marcus's pity for her. "Miss Emily," Sophia put down her coffee cup, "I heard from Marcus that his wedding was cancelled. I just wanted to ask if you had misunderstood the relationship between Marcus and me." I didn't say anything. I just found the scene in front of me somewhat ironic. 3 years later, when she came to me, she was crying about her relationship with Marcus and begging me to step aside. This moment, however, she was acting like a superior, casually saying, "Did you misunderstand our relationship? Marcus and I were just childhood sweethearts. Later I got married and we had relatively few interactions. The last time I came to the city, Marcus accompanied me for a meal, which unexpectedly made Miss Emily unhappy and even led to the cancellation of the wedding. Did Marcus ask you to come?" I didn't want to listen to this, so I interrupted her. "No, I'm just feeling unfair for Marcus. Marcus is so busy with work. Miss Emily should be more understanding towards him instead of making a fuss here. But this has nothing to do with you, his first love, right?" I smiled. Sophia was a little surprised. Did he even tell you about this? Of course I knew. In the month when Sophia got married, Marcus got drunk every night. Every day, I was the one who tried hard to help him get home, made a cup of hot milk, and put it on his bedside before leaving. Until one night when I was about to leave, he grabbed my hand. First coming back to my senses, I continued, "The problem between Marcus and me is our own. It has nothing to do with Miss Sophia. Miss Sophia might be overestimating her own importance." I smiled. Marcus once said that when I smiled, it would make people feel as if they were bathed in a spring breeze. I wonder if Sophia on the opposite side would think the same way. At this moment, Emily, an unexpected visitor, suddenly pushed the door open. I stood up. "Did you two make an appointment?" Marcus said calmly. "I heard from Sophia that she had an appointment with you here, so I wanted to come and have a look. Now that you've seen, can I leave?" Marcus seemed quite dissatisfied with my coldness. "Emily, what's wrong with you? Even if we didn't get married, I thought we should at least be friends." "Friends?" I snorted coldly. "Marcus, don't get it wrong. I can be friends with anyone, but not my former fiancé." "Emily, why are you being so sarcastic now? It's not like you." Marcus forced a smile and remained unhurried. My eyes grew a little cold. I've always been like this. Maybe Marcus has never known me. Marcus couldn't still think that this time, just like before, as long as he said something nicely, I would turn back into that gentle and subservient little lapdog again, could he? I sneered and walked out of the coffee shop leisurely, leaving Sophia with an inscrutable expression and Marcus, who was still in a daze. Chapter 4. Half a month later, I held my own art exhibition. There were more people coming to the art exhibition than I had expected. However, I didn't expect to see Marcus. He seemed a bit darker than before. After not seeing him for a week, the 2 pimples on his face revealed that he might have been staying up late for work again recently. I hadn't thought that he would come. After all, he had never gone to the studio to look for me before, nor had he ever seen my paintings. Seeing me, Marcus walked over and congratulated me. "Emily, you've finally fulfilled your wish." So he still remembered that I wished to hold a solo art exhibition. "Thank you, this wish was just postponed a bit compared to the plan." Today I didn't want to be cold towards him. Maybe it was because I was in a good mood after holding the art exhibition, or maybe the half-year's busyness had made me forget some of the scars. He seemed a bit confused. After a moment of silence, he asked me, "Would you like to accompany me to have a look at your paintings?" I readily agreed. Marcus seemed to be looking at each painting very carefully. We didn't communicate during that time until he stood in front of the free section where all the paintings were the ones I painted in Zakynthos. "These paintings are really good." Marcus's expression was flickering. He didn't know what he was thinking. After a long silence, I suddenly heard him say to me, "Emily, I was too busy before and ignored you. Can we get back together?" Chapter 5. Was he asking me to get back together? Hearing Marcus's words, I shook my head vigorously. "It's Marcus, what is said. I won't get back together with you. Besides, don't you have Sophia?" I countered. When Marcus heard me mention Sophia, he was slightly stunned. Then a hint of panic flashed across his face, and he quickly explained to me, "There's nothing between me and Sophia. If you don't believe me." Before he could finish his sentence, I promptly interrupted him. "Is there really nothing between you and Sophia? On every day you told me you were busy, weren't you, with Sophia?" "Marcus, I may have been naive, but I'm not stupid." At this point I paused again. "I chose to let you and Sophia be together. Shouldn't you be happy? You can be with her openly in the future, and you won't have to make excuses to me about being busy anymore." With that said, Marcus's eyebrows suddenly furrowed tightly. Apparently, he wasn't as happy as one might have expected. But even so, I wouldn't soften my heart in the slightest. If one were to say that he came to ask me to get back together because he regretted it, then I could only think that he regretted losing a dog, not losing me. Chapter 6. I excused myself, saying that I was busy with the art exhibition, and turned to leave. Marcus tried to grab my hand, but I shook it off directly. Since I had decided to let him be with his white moonlight, I would naturally stick to my decision to the end. The lessons from my past life were more than enough. Reborn, I only wanted to live for myself. Half a year after the art exhibition ended, I embarked on a journey to retrieve all the lost aspects of life from the past, one by one. I was driving alone on National Highway 318. The snow-capped mountains, alpine lakes, and grasslands outside the car window kept flashing by and disappearing behind me. On a night when I was lying in a hotel near Mount Kyash, looking at the stars, I received a message from Marcus. "Hello Emily, it's me." I glanced at the phone screen, which showed an incoming call from Marcus. "I know you haven't changed your number." Pause on the other end of the phone. "Do you have time to watch a movie together tomorrow? It's a detective thriller that you like." "Buddy, I'm in Tibet." There was a moment of silence on the other side. "Why did you go to Tibet?" I bluntly interrupted him. "Marcus, if you have something to say, just say it directly." Marcus seemed surprised that I would be so straightforward. There was another long silence on the other end of the phone. Suddenly, I felt that China's infrastructure projects were really amazing. Signal towers could be built even on a 4,000-meter-high plateau. The voice on the other end of the phone interrupted my wandering thoughts. "Nothing much. The day before yesterday, I went to a small pub. A singer there sang a song that I thought you'd like, so I took a video for you. I was going to send it to you." "Oh, there are so many people doing covers, it's not that special. If there's nothing else, I'll hang up first. The signal is bad on the plateau." "Okay, I'll call you again tomorrow." "No, don't bother, bro. The signal is bad here." I quickly hung up on Marcus. I suspected that this guy had taken the wrong medicine. Finally, I understood how annoying it must have been for Marcus when I used to send him messages to show my concern. In the following days, Marcus would call me every night. He didn't talk about much, just to confirm if I was safe. I didn't know which wind had blown into his head and messed it up. Deciding to return via the Qinghai route through Hohhot was a choice I made after doing a lot of research. I knew it would be dangerous, but I had made full preparations. Moreover, the whole self-driving journey had been smooth sailing so far, which further strengthened my determination to cross Hohhot. However, when driving through a section with no signal, to avoid a rampaging antelope, I jerked the steering wheel hard, and the vehicle overturned to the side. My head hit something hard flying inside the car, and the pain was excruciating. I reached out and used all my strength to unbuckle the seatbelt, found my phone scattered aside. Fortunately, the phone wasn't broken. Unfortunately, there was no signal at all in this place. I used all my strength to hit the car door and finally managed to open it and get out. Only then did I notice that I had multiple abrasions on my body. Outside the car was a vast expanse of desert, and no cars passed by for a long time. The headache was getting worse and worse. I often heard news about people being devoured by wild animals in the uninhabited area of Hohhot. I staggered back into the car and closed the door. I didn't know if I was going to die here today. I thought that since crossing Hohhot was a dangerous journey, I had gone to the local police station to register before setting out. Would they notice my distress when they came? I didn't know if I would still be alive. I hoped no wild animals would see me. I didn't want to be eaten and left with only a few bones. My head was getting dizzier and dizzier. At some point, my consciousness had begun to fade. Come blurred when I woke up again. What came into view was a white ceiling. There were several policemen surrounding me. They asked me some simple questions. After confirming that I was okay, the policemen left. After they left, an unexpected visitor came to the ward. I almost didn't recognize Marcus when he entered. His unshaven beard was randomly scattered on his face, his cheeks were sunken, his hair was messy, and the wrinkles on his coat were obvious. He rushed in like a madman, then stopped by my bedside. He wanted to reach out and hug me but was afraid of hurting me. Finally, he slowly said, "Emily, are you okay?" My head wouldn't allow me to shake it. Even a slight movement felt like there were little people fighting inside. "I'm okay. Why are you here?" I asked. "I called you every day hoping you'd be safe. That night I couldn't get through to you all night, so I took the earliest flight here. I reported the case at the police station and looked for you for a long time. Later, the police called me and told me you were here, so I came right away. I didn't expect Marcus to come and look for me." Suddenly, he came over, grasped my hand and pleaded, "Emily, can we make up? During the many days you've been gone, I've thought a lot. I used to always think that we still had a long time to get along, that we could take it slow. I thought you were just throwing a tantrum with me. I didn't expect that you'd really leave without looking back for so long. Emily, without you, I'm really sad every day. I've sung that song like the most and recorded it. Do you want to listen to it? Emily, you said that I never understood you. After you left, I learned to look at your paintings. On the day of your art exhibition, you were shining there, so beautiful, really beautiful. When you left, you said that I never liked you. That's not true, it's not like that. Only now do I realize that I've always liked you so much. When I thought something had happened to you in Tibet, I felt like the sky had fallen. Stop it, I interrupted. The discomfort in my head didn't allow me to show any expression, but I don't like you anymore. He stared at me blankly, as if he couldn't believe what I had just said. If I had heard such words before, I might have excitedly thrown myself into his arms, feeling that the cold stone I had been trying to warm for so long had finally become warm. But I no longer loved him. I don't believe it. No, I don't believe it, he said, getting excited and gripping my hand so tightly that I gasped in pain. The nurse pushed the door open and pulled Marcus away. Sir, please respect the patient. Marcus looked at the nurse, then turned his gaze to me. Finally, he carefully backed out of the ward. Chapter 7. After being discharged from the hospital, I returned to that familiar city. Unexpectedly, Sophia actually came to find me on her own initiative again. She was sitting in the coffee shop, slowly stirring her coffee, still looking as refined and haughty as ever. Every move she made was annoying to me. Miss Emily, she said, once over from head to toe and got straight to the point. I hope you can go back to Marcus, looking at her self-righteous appearance. I couldn't help but laugh. What gives you the right to ask me to do this? The corners of Sophia's lips curled up, and it was hard to tell if she was truly happy or just pretending. Marcus loved you very much. After you left, he often thinks of you, remembers your kindness and recalls your past. Sophia paused, her eyes deep and dark. You shouldn't let him down. Looking at her insincere remarks, I just found it ironic. As a third party, what right did she have to say that I was letting someone down? I didn't want to beat around the bush with her. I looked at her provocatively. If I go back to Marcus, can you completely disappear from his world? Sophia was stunned and didn't answer, but there was obviously a hint of hesitation in her eyes. I laughed. Sophia looked at me with dark eyes. What are you laughing at? I didn't answer. I stood up and walked out. If you can't do this yourself, don't act so high and mighty and ask others to do things. Just makes people laugh. I thought Sophia was just testing my feelings. To my surprise, she actually told Marcus about this. Not long after, Marcus came to find me. He didn't look well. As soon as he saw me, he bombarded me with questions. What did you say to Sophia? Why did she suddenly leave? The nervous look on his face didn't seem fake. Seeing him like this, my already dead heart grew even colder. I didn't say anything. She came to find me first. I casually looked away, not wanting to look at him anymore. Marcus obviously didn't believe me. He grabbed my arm with great force, and the pain spread instantly. You must have said something to her. It was you who said something to hurt her, and it was you who forced her to leave. She's already pitiful enough. Why do you still force her? I didn't do anything. I couldn't bear it anymore and slapped him directly. Marcus, are you done yet? Can you please stop dragging your messy affairs in front of me? I feel sick just looking at the two of you. Marcus was stunned by the slap, and his previously out-of-control emotions finally calmed down. Emily, I'm sorry. I was just too impatient. I just saw her about to leave and I suddenly laughed, but the laughter didn't reach my eyes at all. Marcus, never come to find me again. Emily, listen to me. Marcus saw that I was about to leave and immediately chased after me, but I slapped his hand away hard and turned to leave. Marcus stood there, looking in the direction I was leaving, his eyes shaking, looking disheveled. He grabbed his hair in frustration, like a violent and broken lion trapped in a cage. He kept chanting my name. Emily, Emily. But he knew that it was completely over between him and me. Chapter 8. During this period my body gradually got better, and I also started to prepare for going abroad. This time I really wanted to leave and would never come back. My best friend Elena tried to persuade me several times, seeing that I was determined she could only hug me with tears in her eyes. Emily, everything will be okay, believe me. Of course I would believe her. Without Marcus I could live a better life. The day before going abroad, I left my footprints in every corner of the city. Just like in the past 5 years, I had always been on my own. Eating alone, watching movies alone, shopping alone, strolling around the streets alone, and even choosing the wedding dress all by myself. Before I knew it, I stopped in front of that bridal shop. There was a new style on display in the window. A mermaid-style wedding dress studded with crushed diamonds. Under the lights, the surface of the wedding dress sparkled like the stars in the sky, dazzling and magnificent. I couldn't help but stop and admire it carefully. At this moment, a salesperson came out of the shop. When she saw me, she actually recognized me. "Miss Emily, would you like to try on the wedding dress? But we're about to close. You can come back with your husband tomorrow." I smiled at her but didn't explain anything. I just waved goodbye to her, goodbye never to see again. I don't know if it was God's will to put a perfect end to our marriage. Surprisingly, I ran into Marcus in a bar. It was a bar that I liked to go to, and Marcus had accompanied me there twice. He came with 2 male friends. This time our booths were back to back, and I could clearly hear his conversation with his friends. "Tomorrow is Emily's birthday. I'm going to set off fireworks all over the city to ask her to get back together." Marcus had drunk a lot, and his speech was a bit slurred, but he was still telling his great plan to his friends. "I've already bought all the fireworks in the city. At that time, I'll kneel in front of her and ask for her forgiveness. Emily will surely forgive me. She loves me so much and I love her so much too. We shouldn't have separated." I didn't listen any further. How many of the words of a drunk person are true, and how many are false? The next evening, I boarded the flight abroad. Before the plane took off, I received a WeChat message from Marcus. "Emily, happy birthday. 20, it's the time you were born. I'll send you the grandest fireworks. At this moment, Emily, I hope you can forgive me. I love you and will always love only you." I glanced over his sentimental words and then looked at my watch. I withdrew my gaze, but my heart was calm without any ripples. With the reminder of the flight attendant, I simply turned off my phone and closed my eyes to relax. The plane started to taxi, getting faster and faster, and finally took off, soaring into the sky. I heard some people around me exclaiming one after another, "Look, what beautiful fireworks! What day is it today? Why are there fireworks all over the city? Maybe some rich guy is making a confession. Tisk, it's really enviable." With my eyes closed, a self-deprecating smile curved on my lips. A life like mine was not worth envying at all. The plane flew higher and higher, and the sound of the fireworks gradually faded away. I slowly opened my eyes and looked out of the window. There was nothing but a grayish fog everywhere, and I couldn't see anything clearly. I had completely left. I would never see Marcus again. I couldn't see his citywide fireworks either. Chapter 9. Marcus. I set off fireworks all over the city, hoping to get Emily's forgiveness, but she had turned off her phone and didn't reply to any of my messages. I ran all the way to her place, but it was empty. I had no choice but to go to her best friend Elena, but she slapped me. She said that Emily had gone abroad and would never come back, all because of me. Like a lost soul that nobody wanted, I went back home dejectedly. But there was no Emily in this home anymore. I walked into the kitchen, and it seemed that I could still see her cooking with an apron on. She was amazing. She could use 2 stoves at the same time, saying that it could shorten the cooking time so that the dishes wouldn't get cold from waiting too long. I walked to the dining table and saw her serving me soup again. She carefully blew on the soup until it was a bit cooler before bringing it to me with a big smile and asking me to drink it. I opened the refrigerator door, and there were no more handmade dumplings inside. In the past, whenever she went on a business trip, she would make hundreds of dumplings 2 days in advance and freeze them, just afraid that I would be too busy to eat and go hungry. "My Emily, are you really never coming back? Are you really never going to love me again?" I sat on the sofa, covering my face with my hands, feeling a chill in my heart. I don't know how much time had passed when Sophia came. She sat beside me and gently leaned on my shoulder to comfort me. "Maybe Miss Emily is just having a tantrum with you. She might come back someday. She's really something, getting angry with you over nothing. She's so childish." I suddenly looked up, which startled Sophia. I turned to look at her flustered eyes, and an unprecedented anger rose from the bottom of my heart. "Get away. Get out. Don't ever show up in front of me again. Go." I reached out and pushed her away hard. Marcus, why are you so mean? Sophia's eyes immediately turned red. If it were before, I would surely have gone up to comfort her. But now my heart was empty, and I didn't have the heart to pay attention to her. In fact, I even loathed her. I ignored this two-faced woman. I just got up and walked towards the bedroom, where there was still a photo of the two of us hanging. I staggered into the bedroom, closed the door, and faced the only photo of us, crying my eyes out. Emily doesn't want me anymore. She really doesn't want me anymore.